The greatest tragedy of the common man is his desperate, starving need to be understood. He wanders the marketplace, bearing his soul like a cheap piece of meat, hoping some passerby will nod and say, "I see you." He does not realize that to be seen is to be captured. In the year 1513, amidst the damp stone walls of a Florentine cell, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli sat in the dark. His body was broken by the rack, his reputation dragged through the mud of Italy's shifting politics. But his mind was sharper than the blade of a Medici executioner. He realized a truth that would terrify the moralists for centuries. Clarity is a cage. Ambiguity is a kingdom. When people understand you, they can predict you. When they can predict you, they can calculate your worth, your limits, and your eventual replacement. But when they misunderstand you, when you wear what I call the phantom mask, you become a ghost in their machine. You are no longer a person, you are a Rorschach test, a mirror of their own fears and desires. Machiavelli didn't just write The Prince to give advice to tyrants. He wrote it as a manual for the misunderstood. He knew that the world is a stage where the actors who speak the clearest are usually the first to be killed off. To survive, you must master the dark art of the strategic blur. You must learn why being the villain in someone else's story is often the only way to remain the hero of your own. Lean in, traveler. The light is fading, and the court is full of whispers. If you wish to rule your own life, you must first learn to stop being honest and start being effective. Secret number 1, the strategic blur. Niccolò Machiavelli once observed the rise and fall of Cesare Borgia, a man who moved like a wolf in the tall grass. Cesare did not announce his arrival with trumpets. He arrived in the silence of a strategic blur. To understand the blur, you must first understand the danger of the map. Most people treat their personality like a map they hand out to everyone they meet. They tell you their favorite foods, their political leanings, their traumas, and their dreams. By doing this, they are giving their enemies a GPS coordinate to their heart. If I know exactly where your boundaries are, I know exactly where to strike to make you bleed. Machiavelli, through his trials in the Florentine Republic, learned that the most powerful position is to be unmappable. In the courts of the Renaissance, as in the boardrooms and social circles of today, there is a social pressure to be authentic. This is a trap set by the powerful to disarm the weak. When someone asks you, "What do you think about this?" or "What are your plans for next year?" they are not seeking connection, they are seeking leverage. The strategic blur is the practice of giving an answer that feels like a revelation, but is actually a vacuum. It is the art of being visible without being known. Think of it like a painting by a master. From a distance, you see a clear image, but the closer you get, the more the brushstrokes dissolve into chaos. When you are misunderstood, when people think you are colder than you are, or more ambitious than you are, or even simpler than you are, they begin to build a version of you in their heads. This avatar of you acts as a lightning rod. It takes the hits. It receives the criticism. Meanwhile, the real you is 10 miles away, moving in total silence toward your true goal. Machiavelli often spoke of the fog of war, but he practiced the fog of peace. In times of conflict, confusion is expected. But in times of peace, confusion is a weapon of genius. If you are consistently inconsistent, you break the patterns of those who try to manage you. If you are a nice person who occasionally shows a flash of ice, or a joker who suddenly speaks with the gravity of a king, people lose their footing. They cannot categorize you. And in the human brain, that which cannot be categorized is inherently superior. We do not fear the dog that barks. We know why he barks. We fear the dog that sits in the corner, watching us with eyes that reveal nothing. Often, being misunderstood means being labeled the bad guy. Machiavelli was labeled a devil for centuries. Yet this misunderstanding was his greatest shield. Because the world thought he was a monster, they never looked for the patriot beneath the surface. They were so busy arguing with his mask that they never saw his hands moving the pieces on the board. By allowing yourself to be misunderstood, you opt out of the popularity contest. You stop wasting energy trying to fix your reputation. Let them think you are arrogant. Let them think you are difficult. Let them think you are mysterious. Every minute they spend trying to solve the puzzle of you is a minute they aren't spending on their own progress. You are not a puzzle to be solved. You are a fortress to be feared. In the end, the person who is perfectly understood is a person who has been conquered. They have no secrets left to trade, no surprises left to spring. They are a finished book. But the one who masters the strategic blur, they are a library with no index, infinite, intimidating, and impossible to burn. But even the most beautiful blur needs a surface to rest upon. Once you have obscured your true self, you must learn how to use the vacancy you've created. You must become a vessel for the one thing people love more than the truth, themselves. If you think hiding is powerful, wait until you learn how to turn your silence into a mirror that reflects your enemy's greatest fears back at them. The silence of the wise is louder than the shouting of the fool, for in that silence, the fool hears his own execution sentence. Secret number 2, the mirror of expectations. Niccolò Machiavelli observed a curious defect in the human psyche. Men are rarely interested in the truth of who you are. They are far more interested in the truth of who they need you to be. In the court of the Medici and in the digital courts of today, people do not see with their eyes. They see with their anxieties and their appetites. This leads us to the second layer of the phantom mask, the mirror of expectations. If the strategic blur is about making yourself invisible, the mirror is about making yourself a screen. It is the art of letting others project their own desires, fears, and narratives onto your silence. When you are misunderstood, you provide a blank canvas. And humans, being the narcissistic creatures they are, cannot help but paint their own image upon it. Most men feel a frantic urge to fill a silence. They believe that by explaining themselves, by saying, "This is what I believe," or "This is why I did that," they are building a bridge. In reality, they are building a target. Every word you speak to define yourself is a boundary you have set, and every boundary is a limitation. Machiavelli watched the most successful diplomats of his age. They were not the loudest or the most charismatic. They were the ones who listened with such intensity that the other person felt compelled to fill the void. By remaining an enigma, you force the other party to guess. And when people guess, they always guess based on their own internal world. If they are greedy, they will assume you are a co-conspirator in their greed. If they are noble, they will project a hidden virtue onto your quietness. You become a psychological chameleon. You don't have to lie. You simply have to refuse to correct their convenient delusions. Consider the prince who speaks little, but moves with deliberate weight. To the merchant, he is a man of business. To the soldier, he is a man of iron. To the priest, he is a man of hidden faith. Is he any of these things? It does not matter. By being misunderstood by each group in a way that suits their needs, he gains the loyalty of all. This is why the prince must learn to be a great simulator and dissimulator. Machiavelli noted that it is not necessary to have all the good qualities, mercy, faith, integrity, humanity, religion, but it is strictly necessary to appear to have them. However, there is a deeper level. It is often more effective to let the other person convince themselves you have them. When you allow someone to misunderstand you in their favor, you have performed a masterful act of psychological judo. You are using their own momentum to bind them to you. They will defend you more fiercely than they would defend an honest friend, because to admit they were wrong about you is to admit they were wrong about their own judgment. There is a dark safety in being the quote villain in the eyes of your enemies, while being a quote mystery in the eyes of your allies. When you are misunderstood, you are never held to the standard of a normal man. If people think you are capable of anything, they will hesitate to cross you. If they think you possess hidden knowledge, they will defer to your silence. In 1502, Machiavelli stood before Cesare Borgia and saw a man who used silence like a garrote. Borgia didn't need to explain his cruelty. The mystery of his next move kept all of Italy paralyzed. Because no one understood his true heart, they filled the gap with their own terror. He didn't have to be everywhere. The idea of him was everywhere. To use the mirror of expectations, you must kill your ego. Your ego wants to be, quote, right. It wants to be, quote, seen. It wants to correct the person who says something false about you. You must starve that ego. Let them be wrong. Let them think you are the fool, the saint, or the devil. As long as their misunderstanding serves your strategic end, their truth is your weapon. When you master the mirror, you realize that the most influential person in the room is often the one who speaks the least. Every time you refuse to clarify your position, you increase your value. You become a limited edition human being. People will exhaust themselves trying to win your approval because they don't know where they stand with you. They will offer you more information, more concessions, and more loyalty, all in a desperate attempt to find their reflection in your eyes. But beware, once you step out of the shadows and explain your motives, the spell is broken. The mirror shatters. You become just another man, predictable and small. Now that you have learned to reflect their desires, you must learn the most dangerous trick of all. You must learn how to use a false identity to lead your enemies into a trap of their own making. To be known is to be hunted. To be reflected is to be worshipped by the very people who seek to use you. Secret number 3, the controlled chaos. Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote that a prince must be both a fox and a lion. But even the fox can be trapped if his path is too straight, and the lion can be netted if his roar is too predictable. To truly govern the minds of men, one must master a third creature, the chimera. This is the art of controlled chaos. It is the deliberate construction of a false reputation, a decoy persona that acts as a heat flare to distract the world's missiles, while your true intentions move in the cool dark of the night. In the high-stakes theater of Renaissance Florence, Machiavelli saw that those who were most successful were often those who were understood as the exact opposite of what they were. They did not just hide, they provided a loud, vibrant, and utterly false target for the world to aim at. Most people spend their lives trying to protect their good name. They are terrified of being thought of as incompetent, lazy, or erratic. Machiavelli realized this fear is a chain. If you are terrified of being thought of as erratic, you will always be predictable. Controlled chaos is the strategic use of a flaw to mask a strength. Consider the strategist who allows himself to be misunderstood as unorganized or distracted. While his rivals smirk and dismiss him as a lightweight, he is quietly securing the supply lines. Or consider the leader who cultivates a reputation for being impulsive. Because his enemies believe he acts on whim, they do not look for the cold, mathematical calculation behind his every move. They attribute his victories to luck and his failures to character, never realizing that both were staged. By feeding the world a false version of yourself, you create a buffer zone. Any attack on your reputation hits the mask, not the man. Machiavelli often reflected on the life of Agathocles the Sicilian, a man who rose from the lowest status to become king of Syracuse. Agathocles was misunderstood by everyone. His enemies thought him a mere criminal. His allies thought him a lucky brute. He allowed this misunderstanding to fester. He called for a meeting of the Senate and the wealthiest citizens, appearing as though he wanted to discuss the chaos of the state. He looked vulnerable, perhaps even desperate. The elite arrived, smug in their understanding that they held the power over this upstart. Because they misunderstood his intent, believing his chaos was a sign of weakness, they walked into a trap. Agathocles had them all executed in a single morning. The chaos wasn't in his mind. It was a theater he built for their benefit. He used their understanding of him as a cage to trap them. In your own life, there is a profound advantage to letting people think they have found you out. If a rival thinks they have discovered your secret weakness, perhaps a supposed vice or a fake insecurity, they will stop looking for your actual vulnerabilities. They become invested in their own discovery. Machiavelli knew that men are more easily deceived by their own cleverness than by the lies of others. When you are misunderstood as being weak where you are strong, or slow where you are fast, you possess the element of total surprise. The world treats you according to the secret they think they've stolen from you. Do not correct them. If they think you are a fool, play the part. If they think you are a saint, wear the robes. But keep your daggers sharpened beneath the velvet. The moment they feel most right about you is the moment they are most at your mercy. The goal of controlled chaos is to make the cost of calculating your moves too high for anyone to pay. When your reputation is a kaleidoscope of contradictions, people eventually stop trying to figure you out. They surrender. They accept your presence without trying to analyze your core. This is the ultimate freedom. When the world stops trying to understand you, they stop trying to control you. You become a force of nature, unpredictable, unmanageable, and utterly sovereign. But remember, the mask is only effective if the person behind it is never seen. To truly dominate, you must learn that your presence can be a weakness, and your absence can be a throne. The man who wears 1,000 masks is never lost, for he is the only one who knows which face is real, and even he is beginning to forget. Secret number 4, the power of the empty chair. Niccolò Machiavelli, during his years of forced exile at his farm in Sant'Andrea, discovered a paradox that most power-hungry men fail to grasp. Presence diminishes fame, but absence augments it. When you are always available, always explaining yourself, and always visible, you become common. You become a known quantity. You are like the sun at noon, so bright and constant that people begin to seek the shade to get away from you. But the man who understands the power of the empty chair knows that the most influential person in the room is often the one who isn't there at all. In The Prince, Machiavelli writes of the importance of a leader not becoming contemptible. Nothing breeds contempt faster than overfamiliarity. If the world thinks they have you figured out because you are always standing in front of them, they will eventually stop looking at you. However, when you are misunderstood through your absence, you trigger a psychological phenomenon called social gravity. People begin to talk about you. They speculate. They fill your silence with their own myths. Because they cannot see you to verify their assumptions, their imagination takes over. And the imagination is a much better press agent than the truth could ever be. By being the empty chair, you allow others to debate your intentions. While they are busy arguing over what you meant by your last move, or why you haven't appeared at the gala, they are effectively doing your work for you. They are keeping your name alive, magnifying your importance, and making you the center of the narrative without you having to lift a finger. Machiavelli once analyzed the power of the Pope and the clever way the church maintained authority. The Pope was not a neighbor you saw at the market. He was a distant, almost mythic figure. This distance created a holy misunderstanding. People didn't know the man, they only knew the office. In modern strategy, this means resisting the urge to defend yourself in every forum or answer every critic. When you refuse to engage, you create a vacuum. And as the ancients knew, nature abhors a vacuum. Someone will try to fill it. Usually they fill it with their own insecurities. If you are absent and misunderstood, your enemies will assume you are plotting. Your allies will assume you are preparing a grand surprise. Both groups will treat you with a level of respect and caution that they would never show to someone who is constantly checking in. Machiavelli's own life was a testament to this. Even in his defeat, his absence from the halls of power in Florence made his writings more dangerous. Because he wasn't there to be argued with, his ideas became untouchable. To master this secret, you must learn to disappear just when you are most expected. If you have been the life of the party, leave early without a word. If you are expected to respond to a slight, remain silent. By letting the world be wrong about your reasons for leaving, you force them to realize that you do not need their validation. When you are present, you are a subject. When you are a mystery in your absence, you are a sovereign. You become the empty chair that everyone is afraid to sit in, lest the ghost of your reputation returns to claim it. We live in an age of oversharing, where everyone is a brand and every brand is desperate for engagement. Machiavelli would find this pathetic. Engagement is for servants. Distance is for kings. The less you are understood, the more you are worth. Scarcity creates value. If your words are rare, they are weighed like gold. If your presence is infrequent, it is treated like an event. By allowing yourself to be misunderstood as aloof or mysterious through your absence, you are actually protecting the potency of your true self. You are not being shy, you are being selective. You are teaching the world that access to your true mind is a privilege, not a right. And until they earn it, they can spend their time talking to your shadow. But do not mistake absence for weakness. The final secret is not about how the world sees you, but how you see yourself when the world is looking the wrong way. It is time to claim the ultimate crown. The world fears the man who is not there, for they know he could be anywhere. Secret number 5, the final sovereignty. We have traveled through the fog, the mirror, the chaos, and the silence. But now we reach the inner sanctum, the place where the strategist stops performing for the world and begins to rule himself. This is the final sovereignty. In the final chapters of his life, Machiavelli retired to his study every night. He would strip off his muddy, everyday clothes, the garments of the common man, and put on his magnificent courtly robes. In his mind, he was entering the presence of the great ancients. He wrote, "I enter the ancient courts of ancient men, and I am not ashamed to speak with them and ask them the reason for their actions." This is the ultimate secret, mastery over self by allowing the world to be wrong about you. Most people are slaves to their reputation. They spend their nights tossing and turning, wondering if their boss thinks they are lazy, if their friends think they are boring, or if their enemies think they are weak. This is the ultimate form of imprisonment. If you need the world to understand your goodness, your intelligence, or your power, then the world owns you. Machiavelli's final sovereignty is the moment you realize that the world's opinion is not your reality. When you allow the world to be wrong about you, when you let them think you are a villain while you are doing God's work, or let them think you are a fool while you are building an empire, you achieve a level of freedom that no king can take away. You become sovereign because your identity is no longer anchored in the shifting sands of public perception. It is anchored in your own results. A strategist who is misunderstood by the masses, but understood by himself, is a dangerous man. Machiavelli was called a teacher of evil, a murderous Machiavel. He was accused of destroying morality. Did he spend his time writing letters to the editor to defend his character? No, he leaned into the misunderstanding. He knew that if the sheep feared him, they would stay away from his gates. By accepting the world's wrong verdict, you gain the internal monarchy. You stop seeking likes and start seeking leverage. You stop seeking followers and start seeking foundations. The final sovereignty is the quiet, cold realization that you are the only judge who matters in the courtroom of your life. There is a profound peace in being the villain for the right reasons. To the world, Machiavelli was a cynic. In reality, he was a patriot who loved his country more than his own soul. He was willing to be misunderstood by history if it meant he could provide the tools for a leader to save Italy. This is the peak of the phantom mask. You use the mask not just to trick others, but to protect your own purpose. When people misunderstand your why, they cannot sabotage your how. If you are building a business, let them think you are lucky. If you are building a body, let them think you have good genes. If you are building a soul, let them think you are eccentric. Let them have the explanation that makes them feel comfortable. Meanwhile, you keep the truth for yourself. The truth is a fire that burns brighter when it is contained. The world will always try to label you. They will try to put you in a box so they can stack you on a shelf and forget about you. The final sovereignty is the act of stepping out of the box and leaving the label behind. You are not what they say you are. You are not even what you say you are. You are what you do when no one is looking, and what you achieve when everyone is looking the wrong way. To be misunderstood is to be free. To be perfectly understood is to be dead. You have been given the keys to the kingdom, but be warned, a key can also be a lock. The phantom mask is not a toy for the vain. It is a tool for the brave. From this day forward, do not fear the whispers of the crowd or the judgment of the ignorant. Wear their misunderstanding like a cloak of fine silk. It is light, it is beautiful, and it hides the blade you carry for your destiny. Go now and walk through the world as a ghost among men. Let them speak your name in confusion. Let them wonder at your silence, and let them tremble at your results. For in the end, it is better to be a mysterious master than an understood servant. The world will never know who you truly are. And that is exactly why you will win. The court is now adjourned, and the secrets are yours to keep or to wield. But remember, the moment you seek the world's approval, you hand them your leash. If you found the wisdom in these shadows, show your presence by leaving a like. It is the only signal we recognize in this theater of ghosts. Subscribe to join our silent assembly and comment below with the word mask if you are ready to let the world be wrong about you while you build your empire in the dark. The ink is dry, the plan is set. The only question remains, will you be the author of your own legend or a footnote in theirs? The world will never know who you truly are, and that is exactly why you will win.